Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Once again, I am Nicodemus Kane. Today is July the 27th of 2022. We're moving right along. It's been a pretty quick summer. Every time I stop and look at the calendar, I think, man, we just zipped right through July. Even though I know we didn't. It's been it just seems like every week has just been so long, but we've gotten through it. We've gotten through it to this point. Well, that one week wasn't very long because I had a vacation. But anyways, whatever. Today we're going to read Isaiah 21. Anybody see that weird video about Biden talking with his eyes wide open for the whole thing? Sheesh. Crotchety old bastard, isn't he? So somebody pointed it out, other than the fact that it just looks weird. Apparently he had two video interviews back to back within 2 hours of each other. Of course, the one where he had his eyes wide open, never blinked for like 15 minutes. Somebody made the joke that if you can make it all the way through your announcement without blinking, we'll give you some ice cream, which I thought was funny. But the other one was where he was back to normal, looking like the one guy that has the puppets. I can never remember his name because I don't think he's funny, but he's got that puppet, the crotchety old man puppet. The one that looks just like him. But he had his eyes, they're all squinty and closed, and they're all black. Within 2 hours of each other. It's like, what is that? I can't sit there and yell at a TV with my eyes open that wide for that long without blinking. Something is definitely going on there. I don't know what it is. But, I mean, really, when you have a fake president sitting inside of a fake White House making fake speeches, why wouldn't it just be, more camera trickery? Because it's just the whole thing. Just the whole thing. It's just absurd. So anyways, and then you got the other one. There's something about Kamala Harris sitting there with she starts her conversation with, my name is Kamala Harris and my pronouns are whatever, and I am a woman and I am sitting here in a blue dress. It's like, okay, do you have to ground yourself in reality first? I mean, really? Yeah, is that what we're doing? Do we have to, Now see, when they do stuff like that, it makes me think of something that Paul Heyman once said as a wrestling manager, if you didn't know. When he comes out to the ring, he comes out and he says, my name is Paul Heyman and I am the representative for whatever, He said he does that because it cements into the person's head, the person that has never seen him before, cements it into their head, this is what I am, this is what I'm here to do. Because so many wrestlers, they come out, especially if they can't cut a promo, they have to come out and they have to show you with their mannerisms, I'm the bad guy. They'll come out of the curtain, they'll come down the ramp, and they'll be mock pushing people away, or they might do some hand gesture, something, and you can tell that's a bad guy, and we should boo him. And then the good guys come out and they'll flex their muscles and they'll smile a lot, and you've seen it. I've seen it way too many times within the past 5 years. Wrestling has just gone downhill. But they've been telling these guys to over-exaggerate because for whatever reason, they're cutting down promo time. So these guys have to go out there and they have to exaggerate. They have to play to the guy that's in the cheap seats, way up at the top. That's an old rock and roll thing. Is you have to play to the guy way out there. You can't play to the guys in the front row because the guys in the front row are, they made it to the front row. You have to play for the guys at the top because those are the ones that really, really, really want to see you. So you have to play to them. So they've been telling these guys to come out and over-exaggerate everything they do. And I've been watching guys that have either made a face turn, which means they go from bad to good. Oh, is that a little thunder? I think I just heard thunder. Give me a second. But I've seen too many guys. I'm looking up the weather while I'm talking. Too many guys that have come out and either made face turns or they're trying to really, really get them over. Oh, yeah, we got storms. Oh, boy. Hopefully the power doesn't go out. Look at that. Yeah, that's going to come right over us. Wow. Yeah, we've been getting hit with storms a lot lately. Still no water in the basement, though. Hopefully it'll stay that way. Mostly because it's been so dry that any amount of water we get just gets sucked right up. But anyways, yeah, wow. Hopefully I don't lose you guys. But I've been seeing them just come out so over-exaggerated. And there's been some guys that have been coming out that, they've got this, they're trying to get this face push, but they can't get any promo time. So they'll come out with this big, huge smile on their face. And it's just the most unnatural thing in the world. And we used to joke, and we used to say, we used to say that if you go out there and smile a lot, they'll like you. Just make sure you smile a lot, but it just looks so forced and unnatural. But anyways, Paul Heyman would say, you come out when you don't have a look, when you don't really have that face, you don't have the gimmick or anything. When you come out, you have to put it out there to the people that, this is who I am, this is what I do, and I'm going to tell you what the person that I represent is going to do to your favorite wrestler. That's what he says to do. And I've actually seen other managers, as soon as Paul Heyman said that, they picked that up. They started doing that. They started coming out and saying, my name is yada, 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 and I'm here to yada, 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 because you want to get that out of the way, to be able to put it in people's heads. This is what I am. This is who I am. It's the same as the people that do like the introductions before they give a big speech, because I'm such and such, and I'm, my qualifications are yada, 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 yada. It's that same concept. But I saw that, and it was kind of like one of the first things I thought up was, it's all been pro wrestling. The whole thing of politics has just completely been pro wrestling. They have learned how to manipulate you into following along with these pro wrestling storylines. They've found a way to manipulate you into turning on a dime to follow the heel or follow the face. And people can make those heel turns anytime. And people can make those face turns anytime. And politics does that. It's like you could be the most despised person in the world, and then, somehow they shift the storyline to get you to be the good guy, or they shift the storyline to get you to be the bad guy. And I look at it and I think, man, that's an old wrestling gimmick. That's the kind of stuff. That's the kind of things that they would say in wrestling to get you to just, follow along. And that's exactly what it is. It's all professional wrestling at this point. It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. But I heard that and I said, oh man, I cannot believe in order to set the bar that she has to come out and do that. Of course, she was wearing a mask, so it could have been anybody. But, it is what it is. Of course, the way she said it, I said, at least one of those statements is false. It's awesome. My name is yada, yada, yada. My pronouns are yada, yada, yada. I am a woman sitting here wearing a blue dress. I was like, at least one of those statements is false. Oh. Man, it's getting bad out there. Wow. I see lightning. That's crazy. And it may miss us too. I mean, we've had storms that have been coming right at us that kind of have gone under us or around us. They've never really hit us head on. But yeah, we're getting hit right now. Go away. No, I'm not going to turn off my ad blocker. Thank you very much. Let's see if they can actually give me a radar, so I can see just how bad. Go away. Oh, it's not even going to let me look at the radar because I have my ad blocker on. What a joke. What an absolute joke. Unbelievable. It's funny whenever it comes to Google itself. Google itself offered me the ad blocker for whatever reason. So I used it, because it's an ad blocker, man. Why wouldn't you use an ad blocker? Ooh, that looks nasty. That is an ugly, nasty storm that's hitting us right now. Man. I did not know it was going to be this bad today. Apparently we're going to get hit twice, maybe 3 times. I don't know. You can never trust radar anymore, it's so sad, but it's true. That you just can't trust radar anymore. So anyways, we're right in the thick of it. So there's just water pouring down out there now, I'm sure. And again, our sump pumps haven't run in months. So I don't know. We may fill up with water, we may not. I don't know. We'll find out. I can't do anything about it for another 2 hours anyways, because it takes 2 hours for it to seep down into the basement. So all I can do is wait and hope that, like I said, the power doesn't go out. Anyways, the other thing I wanted to say, other than the pro wrestling nonsense and other than man, I can't tell. I don't know what was going on. People want to say... Some people are saying that if you say certain words, I know if you say certain words on YouTube, your video get pulled. But fake videos that are deep, if that makes any sense. Some people are saying that was what the Biden video was. I don't know. Maybe not. It's possible. It looked weird to me, though. I'll tell you that much right now. It just looked weird to me. Outside of that, though, the only other thing that I pulled out of those two was that somebody else said this. This is not coming from me. Somebody else said this, and I absolutely agree with it. Pronouns are not there for you to talk to somebody. You know, like if you want to talk to a person, you're not going to use their pronouns. It's not about that. I mean, if you meet somebody and they say my pronouns are this, this, and that, it's like, so I'm not going to be using those while I talk to you. We don't do that. We don't talk in third person. That's not how this works. Pronouns are only there for when you talk about somebody. And that's called narcissism. That's exactly what it is. They want you to know how you're supposed to talk about them when they're not there, not while you're there with them. It's the most it makes the most perfect sense. I never thought about that before until somebody pointed that out, and I was like, that's right. It is pure narcissism. That's what it is. It's not about, because why would I give a shit about what your pronouns are? I don't care. I don't care. If I'm going to talk to you, I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to say, hey, how you doing? You know, whatever, yada, yada, yada. I'm more than likely, 90% of the time, I'm not going to ask you, you know, are you a man? Are you a woman? You know, are you wearing a man's clothes or a woman's clothes? I'm not going to worry about that. We're probably, you know, just going to have that conversation. We're going to move on with our lives. It's until I talk about you after the fact to someone else is when I'm going to worry about, well, he said or she said, you know. So that's what it is. It's pure narcissism. It's you're wanting to make sure that when they talk about you, they get it right. And of course, you know, most times all these made up pronouns are just garbage anyways. It's all just absolute nonsense, you know, trying to manipulate people into going along with your delusion. That's what it is. People are so empty and so lost in this world that they have to find a way to get people to follow along in their imaginary world so that when they talk about them, they will get it right. It's such a joke. It's such an absolute joke. And they have to say it. They have to say it as soon as they meet you so that you will be forced to follow along their delusions. And you don't have to follow along their delusions. You don't have to be forced into their lies. Because that's what it is. It's lies. It's a mental health issue, and it's a lie. That's exactly what it is. You can make up all the words you want to. Man, that was a lightning strike right on top of thunder. So we have lightning right outside the door. Pretty much. That's crazy. But it's a mental health problem. And more than likely the reason that the mental health problem is there is because the society has failed them in some way, shape, or form. And we have to fix that. We have to fix that. You know, yeah, there's not even a second apart between the lightning strike and the thunder. So that lightning is close. Wow. So we are right in the middle of it. That's awesome. Great. I used to live in a house. I used to live in a trailer where I never used to care. I never used to worry. You know, well, let storms come through, just braze it on over. I don't care, whatever. The house will, the trailer will hold up. As soon as I start living in houses, I constantly worry. It's constantly, how much water is going to get in the basement? Is the roof leaking? Is there something going on? Should I be worried? I worry about this stuff now. I never used to worry about this stuff when I used to be like dirt ass poor living in a trailer. It's crazy. But what was I saying? Oh yes, society. If all of the Antifa guys and all the BLM guys and all of the if all the protesters want to come up to your front porch, want to come up to your businesses, want to actually stand out in the middle of the street to protest everything that's going on, then why aren't we going straight to the government and protesting the way that it's supposed to be done? Because you got to think, you're never gonna solve anything by standing out in the middle of the street and shouting like an idiot. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about you. That you're not going to change anything by coming to me directly, some nobody that's just trying to live his life, and yelling at me because you think I'm racist, or you think that I'm sexist, or you think that I'm whatever. It's not going to do you any good. It's not going to do anybody any good, because I don't matter. You're not, I mean, if you change my mind, so what? If you change my mind, what am I going to do? Go try to change somebody else's mind? It's not going to work, because I'm not going to change my mind. If you can't get one person to change their mind, you're not going to get 50 people to change their mind. So it's stupid. You need to go to the sources. Sources are usually the government. Sources are usually media. Sources are usually the schools, but they don't do that. They don't want to do that. They're having too much fun destroying other people's lives. That's how you know that it's funded by the people that don't like you. It's because they're not out there protesting in front of state capitals. They're not out there protesting in front of governmental buildings. They're out there protesting in front of your house. That's how you know that it's not real. That's how you know you need to wake your ass up and hear the truth. But, you know, that is what it is. So if we want to change it, we know where to change it. We know how to change it. It's just, you know, nobody wants to take any responsibility. So many people have gone out of their way to not have any responsibility for anything in this world whatsoever, and they won't speak up and they won't do anything about it. And if you keep doing that, then you're going to lose everything anyways. So that's all I got to say about that. Let's read some Isaiah, man. Let's get through this. We're going to keep an eye on the weather, and we're going to read this, and we're going to hope that the power doesn't go out. If it does, I guess I'll record later and see if I can find some kind of video program that I can put these together. All right. Isaiah 21. The burden of the desert of the sea. As whirlwinds in the south pass through, so it cometh from the deserts, from a terrible land. A grievous vision is declared unto me. The treacherous dealer dealeth treacherously, and the spoiler spoileth. Go up, O Elam, besiege, O Media. All the sighing thereof have I made to cease. Now let's go back for a second here. The treacherous dealer dealeth treacherously, and the spoiler spoileth. That's not a lie. So what is it? Go up, O Elam. See if I can find. Elam has like a ton of them. He's one of the ones from the north. Elam Edom, both a son of Shem. They were both of the north, if I remember correctly. Go up, O Elam, besiege, O Media. Media or Medes is the middle land, a people descended from the son of Japheth who inhabited the territory of Media, which also Media is a Greek goddess, if I remember correctly. It's where we get the actual term Media. Let's see, goddess. We talked about her before too, because she was a sorceress. I'm looking up Media. This is me looking up, even though they may or may not have been talking about her, I'm still looking up Media. It's spelled Medea, but it's the word, it's Media, it's where it comes from. I could be looking for this all day. There's a whole bunch of them in here. I'm not even going to try it. So go up, O Media, go up, O Elam, besiege, O Media. All the sighing thereof have I made to cease. Therefore are my loins filled with pain. Pangs have taken hold upon me, as the pangs of a woman that travaileth. Of course, we know that the end times will be as a woman who travaileth, who is they will slowly increase as time goes on. I was bowed down at the hearing of it. I was dismayed at the seeing of it. My heart panted. You hear me? Painted. Where am I getting I from? My heart panted. Fearfulness frighted me. The night of my pleasure hath he turned into fear unto me. Prepare the table, watch in the watchtower, eat, drink. Arise, ye princes, and anoint the shield. For thus hath the Lord said unto me, Go, set a watchman, let him declare what he seeth. And for all the watchmen that are out there that are not declaring what you see, I can't remember it now. What's the phrase that they use? If the watchman saw something, this is before I even am pulling it up, but if he sees something coming and he doesn't call it out, then the blood will be on his hands. But if he sees something and he calls it out and the person doesn't follow it, then the blood is on their hands. That's what it was. And it's actually Ezekiel. There you go. But if the watchmen see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hand. So if you see it coming, if you don't point it out, that's going to be on you. I try, and I am pointing out evil everywhere I can at this point, no matter what people say. I have been called angry and bitter because of it. I'm like, no, I'm pointing it out. You got to point out evil. It's getting to the point that if we don't point this stuff out, then it's going to overtake us, and we're going to lose everything. So you have to get off your ass and point this stuff out. But some people think, again, oh, we're just supposed to be nice and quiet and just let things happen. No, there's nothing to ever say we're supposed to be nice and quiet, let things happen. We, turn the other cheek and we come to it with love, but you also point out evil where it is. You stand firm against evil. You put out evil. You call it out. You force evil to leave. But of course, again, you've had so many either false teachers or soft teachers that want to just tickle your ears with soft words because they know that, you'll listen to them. You'll listen to the soft words more than you'll listen to the hard words. And they have convinced so many people just to sit back and let it happen. Not call it out, just to be there. And that's not the way this works. That is absolutely not the way this is supposed to work. Everybody says, be more like Jesus. Okay, fine. Jesus went in there with a whip, flipped tables. I'm sorry. He didn't tolerate nonsense. He sat and ate with sinners, and he ate with people that he wasn't supposed to eat with, and he welcomed as many people as possible. There's still a conversation about whether he was sitting with Gentiles or not. Because some people have said that Christ was sitting with Gentiles. I'm going to say, was he? Was he? I'm sorry. He called a woman, a Gentile woman, out by a fountain. He called her a dog. He said, we don't throw the food down to the dogs. She said, well, even the dogs will pick up the scraps. So, was he sitting with the Jews that were sinners, or was he sitting with the Gentiles that were sinners? I'm sure that there were a lot of Gentiles that were out there listening to him whenever he was preaching on the Mount. I get that. But, I heard that the other day, and I just kind of stopped and I thought, you need to go back and read it. I don't think it was until towards the end, and definitely after he was crucified, that was whenever they started saying the Gentiles should be the ones that should get this message as well. Of course, they have always been able to get the message. I mean, we've, again, from the very beginning of the book, it said if the Gentiles want to come in, they just learn our ways. And they, follow our rules, and they can come in. They can be grafted in. Just it's always been there. It's always been there. Checking the weather again. Hold on. Let's see how bad it is. I can hear the water outside. I can hear it flowing. I can actually hear it overflowing on in our gutters, because our gutters are not cleaned out. We keep saying we're going to do that, and we never do. We need to get somebody out here to clean out our gutters. I'm just checking, though. Just checking the weather. We're right in the middle of rain. It's like I said, I can hear it. It's coming down. It's coming down pretty hard. Anyways, where was I? Prepare the table, watch in the watchtower, eat, drink. Arise, ye princes, and anoint the shield. For thus hath the Lord said unto me, Go, set a watchman, let him declare what he seeth. And he saw a chariot with a couple of horsemen, a chariot of asses, and a chariot of camels. And he hearkened diligently with much heed. And he cried, A lion. My Lord, I stand continually upon the watchtower in the daytime, and I am set in my ward whole nights. And behold, here cometh a chariot of men with a couple of horsemen. And he answered and said, Babylon is fallen, and all the graven images of her gods he hath broken unto the ground. O my threshing, and the corn of my floor, that which I have heard of the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, have I declared unto you. So there was a watchman who went up, and he saw a chariot coming, and from that he knew Babylon had fallen. What was the word I was going to look up? Verse 8, and he cried, a lion. He cried as a lion. He cried as a lion, or maybe even, I don't know. That one's weird. That one's different. Because it's, and he cried, comma, a lion. And then it's a colon. Anyways, I stand continually upon the watchtower, and here comes a chariot of men with a couple of horsemen. And he answered and said, Babylon is fallen, is fallen. Just like the angels are going to say in Revelations. And all the graven images of her gods he hath broken unto the ground. Verse 11. The burden of Duma. The burden of Duma, I'm hoping I'm probably pronouncing it right. It's a tribe and region of Arabia, son of Ishmael, and most probably the founder of the Ishmaelite tribe of Arabia. Town in the mountainous district of Judah near Hebron. A mystical name of Edom, indicating death and ruin. That's different. But it means silence. The burden of Duma. We're talking about watchmen, and we're talking about the burden of silence. Interesting. The burden of Duma. He calleth to me out of Seir. Watchman, what of the night? Watchman, what of the night? I love how they repeat it twice. He calleth to me out of Seir. It's the land of Edom, south of the Dead Sea. It's a mountain range in Edom, extending from the Dead Sea to the Atlantic Gulf. Okay. It's a mountain. It's Mount Seir. Duh. Mount Seir. Should have known that. Actually means hairy. It means hairy or shaggy. Just saying. That's what it says. Where are we at? Watchman, what of the nights? The watchman said, the morning cometh, and also the nights. If ye will inquire ye. Return. Come. Okay. It's two little verses, and it's like it's got the paragraph breaks in them. It's just two little weird verses. I don't know what to say about those. Verse 13. The burden upon Arabia. In the forest in Arabia shall ye lodge. O ye traveling companies of Dedanim. Traveling companies of Dedanim. It's the low country. Descendants or inhabitants of Dedan. Dedan? The Dedanites. The descendants and inhabitants of Dedan. And I'm pretty sure I should look that one up too. It was an oasis and city-state northwest of Arabia. That helps. The burden upon Arabia. In the forest in Arabia shall ye lodge, O ye traveling companies of Dedanim. Okay, now we know. The inhabitants of the land of Tema brought water to him that was thirsty. They prevented with their bread him that fled. Tema. It means deserts. The inhabitants of the land of Tema brought water to him that was thirsty. They prevented their bread. They prevented with their bread him that fled. All right. See if it's even the meanings of the places. We may not know the places, but even the meanings of the words help enough that you can put it together. There's a story here. For they fled from the swords, from the drawn sword, and from the bent bow, from the bent bow, not bow, from the bent bow, and from the grievousness of war. For thus hath the Lord said unto me, within a year, according to the years of an hireling, and all the glory of Kedar shall fail, and the residue of the number of archers, the mighty men of the children of Kedar, shall be diminished, for the Lord God of Israel hath spoken it. So again, this is a bunch of people that are trying to get away from this because, yet again, God said he's going to let the king of Arabia go through the land, take over everybody. The land of Kedar. But the word is dark. And the residue of the number of archers, wait, let's go on. For thus hath the Lord said unto me, within a year, according to the years of an hireling. What are the years of an hireling? A man at wages by the day. According to the years of a hireling. The years of a hireling, I think they said, didn't they say that you can hire out somebody for 7 years and then you have to set them free? Isn't that what it said? Something like that? According to the years of an hireling, and all the glory of Kedar shall fail. The residue of the number of archers, the mighty men of the children of Kedar, shall be diminished, for the Lord God of Israel hath spoken it. Within a year, according to the years of an hireling. A man at wages by the day or year. According to the years of an hireling. Okay. And again, there's always more to it. There's probably more digging that you would have to go through to be able to understand every bit of it. I don't get that kind of time anymore, and I think that's part of the problem with this. You go to work, 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week, and you get off if you even remotely go to church. Usually the pastor is telling you just the things that you need to hear just to make it through the next week. That everything you're doing is good, keep your faith in God, go forward, you'll be fine. For those that actually do get to read the Bible, they don't really get that time to sit and focus on it unless you give up everything. Of course, Christ himself said, if you give up everything and follow me, don't worry about where your food's coming. Don't worry about where your money's coming. Don't worry about where your lodgings are coming. Spend the whole day worshiping me, following what this says, understanding what this means. Then you'll get the understanding. Are you ready to go do that yet? I have not been called to go that far yet. I have been pulled to this point, but I have definitely not been called to do that yet. I've had some moments. I'll tell you what. There's been some moments where it's kind of popped in my head, hey, what if I just gave up everything and did this? I would absolutely trust in the Father that he would pull me through. And that if all I did was focus and try to understand every bit of the Bible, every bit of what he needed me to know, so that I could teach it to other people. I could do that. I think that could have been a thing, but knowing what I know now, having the house, having the job, being able to support my daughter-in-law and her kids, being able to have a place that's ours, being able to get this far with it. I understand why it wasn't pushed that hard on me to do that, because we needed this. We needed this here. But for other people, and I've seen them, man, they're out there. They will live in their van and they will spend all their day reading, going out, preaching on the streets. And then they'll come back, sleep in their van. People give them food. Who was it? It was about the time where I was hanging out with some bands in town, and they were talking about this. What would happen is, and there's a story about a guy that used to live just simply based upon Craigslist. He would find places to stop, and they would put him up, and they would let him eat, and then he'd move on to the next place, and he'd get on Craigslist, and he'd look for a place to, But they were talking about the same kind of thing with musicians, where, musicians would come into town, they'd sleep in the, wherever the big house was, where everybody was, they'd come in and sleep. But they were talking also, they would let in street preachers, even if they didn't even believe. If a guy needed a place to stay, they would let a guy stay. They'd let him crash on a couch. And he'd wake up, he'd do his studies, and then he'd go out and he'd talk, and then he'd leave. He'd go to the next town. And that was, when was that? 2001, 2002. I quit my job in 2000, and I was poor for a whole year. And that was whenever I started kind of, hanging out with guys, because that was whenever they let me in, because I was basically meandering around the streets doing nothing with my life. And they took me in pretty much, They took me in, they fed me, they, gave me a place to sleep if I needed a place to sleep. But they used to tell me these stories, and I probably actually met one. There was a couple guys that they weren't musicians, but they just kind of crashed on a couch. And there was one guy I remember that used to talk to me, way back then, that he used to just ask me what I believed. If I believed in God, or if I did this, if I did that. And it was just one of those things. But that's, if you want to truly pick up the mantle and follow Christ, he says, sell everything you have, give it to the poor, and then go out. Take nothing but the words you need and the clothes on your back, and go out and preach his word. So, I don't even know how did I get started on that? I don't know. I'm too busy looking outside, looking at the lightning strikes, because we're still, let me see if I can restart it here. Restart the radar. Let's see where we are with this storm. We're still getting hit. Of course we're still getting hit. We're in a yellow area right now. Yeah, we got smacked there for a second. And it's died down, but we got smacked there pretty hard. Apparently we're supposed to get smacked one more time before this all goes over. So, we'll see. All right. Well, that's really all I've got. I'm getting distracted by the storm. And there wasn't much else. I didn't really have much else. There's probably so much stuff I could talk about. I just don't. I can't think of anything good to say about it, just we're living or we're getting through it. It's just been one day after another after another. And I know that Isaiah is not the it's like I said, once you get to a certain point, Isaiah starts slowing down. But there's moments. There's moments. There's going to be more moments. You just have to get through it. That's like we said, what is it, like 50-something? 60-something? 66 chapters. That's nice. But then Jeremiah, Jeremiah's got the fun stuff in it. I mean, it's like the first 10 chapters of Jeremiah tells you about all the stuff that's happening behind the scenes. Things that you things that happen nowadays that were happening in the past, and God constantly points at him and says, don't do that. Don't do this. Don't do that. I've already said, Isaiah, Jeremiah, and Ezekiel have so many places where it says, look, the heathens are doing this. The unrighteous are doing this stuff. Stop doing that. Quit following the ways of them. Quit following the ways of the heathen. Speaking of which, chapter 10, Jeremiah chapter 10, just thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. It sounds like astrology. Signs in the heavens. Do not be dismayed by them, because they are. You have a bad astrological reading, and your whole day's ruined. Oh, your whole life is ruined because the stars tell you your life is ruined. Oh, give me a break. I learned at a very young age, astrology is a joke. It is an absolute joke. Yes, there are times. Okay, let's do this one for a second. For all those astrology believers out there, there are times where your astrology reading, where it says certain people are like this, certain people are like that, where they line up perfectly, and you think, oh, they're talking directly about me. And there are times on that same day from a different person where they could say the same exact thing about somebody else. To prove that, I had to prove it for myself, that astrology is just, it's all repeating the same old garbage, that you can hear the same things from two different people about two different signs. To prove that, I kept newspapers with astrology readings, because I started seeing the patterns over and over again. Oh, you will have a good day. You will find out that there will be a great fortune that will come in, or you will have bad news today regarding something, or you should call your family members because it's anything, whatever it was. I kept newspapers for off and on for about a year. It was, I didn't keep all 365 of them, but I kept a pretty good amount of them, just to see the astrology readings. And it turned out that they cycled around. It wasn't like day by day by day. You would catch on if it were day by day by day, but it was like every other month or so, they would cycle around to where one sign would have, today will be a good day for you because whatever, yada, yada, yada. And then maybe a month later, maybe a couple weeks later, somebody else would have the same one, and it kept cycling around. And then just for fun, I went and I got 2 different books, 2 different astrology books. And it was those like calendar books where they say, you know, each day, you know, based upon the stars, you will have this, you will have that, you will have this, you will have that. I put them together and they were different. It's all garbage, man. It's all interpretive garbage. The signs in the heavens, those were put there by God to tell us the times, not to tell you how your life is going to go. Those are there to tell the time. Anybody that looks up and says that they can figure you out 100% just based upon what sign you were under while you were born, they're lying to you. We're not even supposed to do that stuff anyways. We're not even supposed to worry about that crap. You're just supposed to live your life, because that stuff's not up there for that. That stuff's up there as a calendar. As a completely different thing that's going on up there. What was the somebody was saying the 12 signs of the zodiac, of course, could be the 12 animals representative of the tribes of Judah. You hear me? The tribes of Israel. What am I saying? The tribes of Israel. And that the 13th, the one that they got rid of, was Christ. You know, like the 12 disciples, the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12, there was something else that was 12. I can't remember what the hell it was. But it's that. It tells a completely different story than you think. And it has nothing to do with how your day is going to go. What type of person you are. It doesn't matter. It's like the people that want to call all redheads fiery and crazy, or anybody that has brown eyes, they're a certain type of person. Or no, that doesn't hold up for everybody. That's an excuse, is what it is. We've had this discussion in the house, actually. I've been trying to break her of it. My wife, her daughter's a redhead, and it's always, you know, well, she's a redhead, what do you expect? And it's like, no, just because she's a redhead doesn't mean that. It just sounds like an excuse to let her get away with bullshit. You know, it doesn't matter. I've met and known plenty of redheads that are nice and quiet, and they're not all fiery and uppity, and, you know, it doesn't mean anything. I've met intelligent natural blondes. You know, I've met, what are some of the other ones? Just these stupid stereotypes. Yes, stereotypes exist for a reason. It's because the majority of people, the majority of X amount of people fall into those categories. But that does not mean that's what it is. It's the same thing with astrology. Yes, a majority of people fall into the stereotypes that astrologers have looked at over the years and said, well, you know, these people are like this, these people are like this. You know, I bet you if we start saying that they're all like that, and, you know, we could probably make some money off of this. That's all it is. It's all greed. It's all money. They're just trying to get something out of you. That's all it is. Quit falling for it. Quit falling for it. It's like the phone-in psychics. Like these people know anything. the guy, what was his name with the ghost thing on Sci-Fi, where he'd have everybody in a room and he'd be like, I sense something over here on this side, something starting with an M. I remember when South Park called it out, and I was like, oh God, they got it right. Of course, then South Park went all COVID stupid, and I can't even watch it anymore. South Park, man, what the heck? But it's all it is. It's just generalizations of people, and it's always about money. It's always about taking your money in order to get, you know, in order to give you something to make you feel better. That's exactly what it is. That's what TV evangelists do. Send me your money and I'll give you a good sign. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's the way it's always been. It's always been about greed. I'm gonna point something out right now, and I'm probably gonna get blasted for it because some people probably won't like to hear it, and I don't care. If anybody knows about the two, they're the Hodge twins. It's the two black twins that they're funny guys. I love listening to them. They're hilarious. You know, they'll find a news thing and they'll sit there and they'll joke about it and they'll laugh about it. And I think it's, you know, somebody was pointing out how it's interesting how the conservatives are now, you know, making fun of this kind of stuff. And it's true. It's funny that, you know, that everybody's got a sense of humor about it now, even though nobody's doing anything about it. And I think that's a problem. You know, if you make fun of something, then you want to have more of that thing in order to make more fun of it. You know, you should be angry at what's going on, but people are making fun of it. Whatever, anyways. But yeah, it's two black guys that they're twins, and they'll sit there and they'll joke and they'll laugh about it. And I think they're hilarious. So they're coming into town, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's neat." You know, I'll look and see. I'm not gonna put any money in their pocket. I think it's cool what they're doing, but you know, whatever. So I check out the ticket prices, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. It's just more of the same garbage. It's like, you know, we're gonna give you X amount of truth, you know, and we're gonna show you that you're not the only one that thinks this kind of stuff. But oh, by the way, we got to charge you to help you do this. It's like, what? I understand that people have to make a living. I understand that people, in order to get from point A to point B, have to have money to be able to get there. But when you are charging X amount of money for tickets just to see somebody that's probably only going to do an hour show anyways, I got a problem with the flat earth conferences too. When you're charging $300 for a flat earth conference, jeez. I am one of those people that believes that truth should be free, open and free, unhindered and free. That to charge money for it it's not truth. If you're charging money for truth, then you are not a truth seeker. You're a money seeker. And I know, again, I know that, you know, people want to meet people. They want to be able to interact with people and, you know, do the whole thing. I get that. And I know that people want to go and they want to be entertained, I guess, or they want to go to a seminar and get some kind of truth or whatever. I get that. And that you need money to be able to do it. But you can find other ways. I think that, again, if it were true and honest, we could find ways in order to get person A to come to place B and, you know, make it work without charging X amount of dollars. It's just absurd. It's absolutely crazy. I don't know. I just saw that, and I'm not picking on anybody. Again, I'm not trying to pick on anybody. I get it. You have to do it. You have to do it, but that's not for me. I can't. I paid X amount of dollars to watch a band entertain me. I paid X amount of dollars to go watch a speaker or comedian entertain me. The truth should be free. That's all I gotta say about it. That's all I gotta say about it. All right. So, anyways, I'm gonna go. It has actually stopped raining. It's probably gonna stop raining for another 2 or 3 days. Everything will dry out again, and it is what it is. I mean, what do you want? You know, it's just the way it's been. Let's check one more time. Check the radar one more time. Let's see where we are. See where we are. We are officially in the green now, which means we're getting wet, but we're not. It's not like a massive storm. We may or may not be getting more. I don't know. This map is funky. It's AccuWeather, which is in Indiana. I mean, I could be getting more in another 30 minutes. I don't know. All right, anyways, I'm going to stop. Thanks for coming around and listening. I shall talk to y'all later. God bless every single one of you. Man. I don't know what else to say. I really don't. I didn't watch anything yesterday. Anything truth related. I put on like the Alien saga and I focused on work. That's what I did. You do that, you know, when you have some free time to be able to not focus on work so much, you can put on some truth videos. It's been a lot of mud flood Tartaria stuff lately, but some days you just need to be able to turn it off and focus on work, and that's what I did yesterday. I focused on work. So, anyways, you guys take care of yourselves. I shall talk to you all later.